I was traveling to Bruges, Belgium with my family and stopped by a local restaurant for lunch. It was highly recommended online, so I expected the food to be delicious. But little did I know, this one choice was actually an expensive mistake, one that I bet you've made before.
I'm Rishi, and I've traveled to all 7 continents, including Antarctica, at just 15 years old. During these travels, I've had lots of great experiences, but also made quite a few mistakes that have cost me a lot of money. But don't worry, I'm here to shed light on these pitfalls so you can learn from my mistakes and avoid wasting thousands of dollars in your travels.
So, what went wrong in my trip to Belgium? As I sat down in that restaurant, I was surrounded by a welcoming atmosphere filled with other tourists enjoying hot chocolate and other local foods. But that was the problem. Everybody at the restaurant was a tourist, and the mistake I had just made became clear once I got the menu. Everything was super expensive. I had fallen into a classic tourist trap of going into an overpriced restaurant avoided by locals, and I was too tired and hungry to look for a different place. So what did I do? Like many other unlucky tourists, I quietly paid the exorbitant 10 euros for a hot chocolate and over 30 euros for a stew. Lesson learned. Now, I try to look for restaurants frequented by locals that are far away from classic tourist spots like the Eiffel Tower, Sydney Opera House, or Great Pyramids. This way, I get authentic local food without the exorbitant price tag.
This'll help you save a lot, but it's nothing compared to this next tip.
I was traveling to New Zealand, ready to touch down on my 7th continent. I was going to see the beautiful fjords, lush pastures, and dense forests. But there was an unexpected setback before I even boarded my flight. The airline insisted on measuring my carry-on, but it didn't fully fit in the luggage sizer. A few years ago, this would have been okay, and I wouldn't have had any problems. But nowadays, airlines are getting very strict with their baggage restrictions for checked and carry-on bags. So I ended up having to check in the bag and pay an extra $100 for a slightly oversized carry-on. Since then, I've learned this crucial lesson. Make absolutely sure you are within the airline's baggage rules for size and weight. Otherwise, you might be in for a rude surprise when you get to the airport. I visited Tanzania in the middle of July. Based on my research, this was the best time of year to visit since I'd be able to see wildebeest crossing the Mara River and tons of other animals, all in great weather. And although I was lucky enough to experience both of those, there was a significant downside to traveling at the best time of year: the crowds. In the Serengeti, there were over 20 safari vehicles creating a mini traffic jam around 2 lions sitting on a rock. I'm not exaggerating, it was really that packed. And although I thoroughly enjoyed my time there, I did feel that visiting outside the peak season might have been better, as there would have been way fewer people. Wherever you're traveling, make sure to consider the off-season or shoulder season. It's usually a lot less crowded, and you'll save money too. When I landed in Iceland, I wanted to quickly drop off my bags at my hotel and start exploring Reykjavik. Once I got through immigration, I was checking cab prices to my hotel and was surprised to learn it was more than $150. While it seemed very high, I thought that was probably because the hotel was almost an hour away, but that would have been an expensive mistake. Thankfully, before actually booking the cab, I noticed a sign about a bus that I could take to the city center. I hadn't considered this option earlier, thinking it would be a lot more convenient to take private transport. But after seeing that the bus fare was just $20, I decided to take a look. It turned out that the bus stopped just a block away from my hotel, and I was able to save over $100. Since then, I've learned to never overlook public transportation, and you shouldn't either. Many cities have robust networks of buses, trains, trams, ferries, and more, and buying day passes can be a great way to save a lot of money on transportation. So make sure to research the public transport available in the cities you visit when traveling.